Welcome to Breakthrough Results by LeadingResponse. Each episode will feature a LeadingResponse host and their guest, discussing tips and tricks on how they achieve breakthrough results. This is a place to learn how to grow your business from people just like you.
Justin Brock is here from Bobby Brock Insurance, and we love to chat with you and pick your brain as we look at you as an industry expert out there. And I'm Jenn with LeadingResponse. I know we've worked together for several years, but wanted to kind of just talk high-level marketing, MedicareCon, and a variety of topics with you. Wanted to kind of start with, what is Justin Brock and his team? What do you guys hope to do for 2024 in the Medicare industry?
We had a huge year this year. Thankfully we're very lead diverse. And so we tend to figure out like what's working for us best and kind of dive into that segment for that period of time. And sometimes those honey holes, they dry up and you got to pivot. So I think, continuing to think on our toes and grow, next year is huge. I know we just bought a new building. We outgrew our space. So we bought a new building. So February 1st, we'll start moving into January. Hope to be completely moved over there by the beginning of February. And the goal is to, start hiring 2 to 3 agents a month for about 6 months after that, get them trained up, because this AEP, even though we wrote, quite a bit more business than we did the year before, the main thing that limited us was number of agents to adequately help people. So thankfully, lead flow and the ability to market with partners like LeadingResponse and knowing through trial and error where to spend our money now. We don't have an issue getting quality people and finding people. We have an issue, making sure that we have adequately trained agents to help enough of them. So really just kind of beef up the team. And probably we're segueing into a couple of other spheres a little bit more than we have in the past, probably the financial services side a little bit and a little bit of group health, not as primary initiatives, but as stronger secondary initiatives than they have been in the past.
Yeah. So do you find that moving into that financial services realm, the easiest way to do that is, earning their Medicare business first?
I think, it's all a couple, we did about 6 million, 7 million in annuities last year. The year before that, I think we did about 8 million. So that was the only metric I believe we were down on this year was annuity premium.
Mm-hmm.
But, we didn't do any marketing for it. It's all just based off of our Medicare book. And so what our goal is now is to pivot some of our marketing to it, but in a way that really allows, or pivot some of our marketing budget, but really to market to the people we've helped with Medicare or the people that already know us for Medicare. It's not like we want to go after a completely different group of people. We just want to start letting those people know, hey, this is something we can help with. And honestly, multi-year guaranteed annuity rates are so high. That is an easy thing right now. I think we should be advertising. I mean, Heartland National, I know, has one, for instance, right now you can lock in a 5, 7, or 10-year 5.8% guaranteed interest rate. Like 10 years ago, that 10 years ago, that was unheard of. I remember when it hit 3% on them, people were like, wow.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I work with a lot of groups like you, and we find that the easiest way to grow that is through Medicare, especially as you bring on new agents, getting Medicare under their belt, and then, being kind of a full service retirement planning resource for them makes a huge difference in their business. Yeah. Awesome. Just a couple things. Do you recommend a marketing strategy or budget when you talk to your agents and agencies? Do you sit down and help them with budgeting, or what do you recommend is an average budget? I know that's different based on if you're independent or if you're under an FMO or IMO, but
yeah. So, we're both. So we have, we started off as some people would call like control distribution, or some people would call it a call center now, but we have our internal agents where we're doing all the marketing for them, their LOA, different things. And we control that budget. And I have a lot of fun with that because I love the marketing aspect of it. But when I'm working with our independent groups, which we have, many independent groups around the country, There's always, a little bit of looking at what are their goals, like how much business are they trying to do? How are they trying to do it? What kind of shop do they envision themselves having? Are they looking at brick and mortar? Are they trying to be fully telephonic? What are they trying to do? But honestly, when they're really trying to start pivoting into spending money on marketing, one of the easiest and most obvious returns on investment actually has been sending them to you guys to do, to do actual boots on the ground seminars, and filling those seminars with direct mail through a group like Leading Response, because it's just if you work it, it works. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And the cool thing about even like some recent revelations with this FCC change coming down the pipeline, where when you develop a lead, it has to be tied to a certain group. Like that's what you guys are already doing. You're helping agencies market themselves versus a lot of these people that are used to buying leads. I've never endorsed buying those leads because one of the reasons they're selling them to everybody and everybody's calling these same people. We want to go out and find people that want to come and listen to us and work with us. And so that's the easiest segue in, the least expensive cost per acquisition marketing that we've seen, for somebody starting out spending money on marketing has been seminar marketing through a group like Leading Response. And, you guys are the ones that got us into it and that we've used for a long time. So, after that, we do start to look at, Facebook and ways that we can use Facebook, for various things. And then eventually we talk about traditional media. Everyone has, different goals and different budgets, and as they go along that path. But what we've done is one thing we don't do is, if one lead pathway is working significantly, we don't cut it off to try something else. It's like, okay, this one's working, so let's keep doing that. And then let's try to add another one. Now, if I have 5 going and they're all working, but 4 are much more efficient than the other, there might be a point where I cut one off. But I see all too often someone saying, "Oh, I'm doing seminars, but I think I want to do this, so I'm just going to cut off seminars." And it's like, well, if seminars are profitable, why did you cut them off? Like at least until you have something else working much better than that, which it's hard to say. That there's a scalability concept. So we always talk about scalability, like how much am I going to scale? And that depends on the person. But most people are just trying to establish, strong local agencies, and seminar mailing and other types of direct mail strategies work. Direct mail is certainly not dead in our demographic. And I think Joe Namath commercials actually probably reinvigorated direct mail because the TV ads people got immune to.
That's a good comment. You're absolutely right. And that, direct mail is where you can get your specific demographic, going after a date of birth when somebody is turning 65 in the next 3 to 6 months. Do you think seminar marketing is the quickest and easiest way to grow your business?
I would say for an agency of a certain size, up to a certain size, yes. There's a point in there where scalability becomes a concept and you have to decide, okay, I'm going to do physical seminars. Now I have to figure out how far out am I willing to go, that kind of thing. And then the further you get away from your home territory, it seems to be the lower close ratio I can get because because I can't set up as many physical appointments with them, things like that. So, we're kind of like a 50-mile radius is where we kind of stay. But like, if I go and look at all of our metrics on our close ratios, our highest closing percentages in physical seminars. So, now there's a point where it's like, okay, if I have a whole bunch of agents, like right now we have 37 team members in there. And so we're going to, I have to feed them with other things too, like Facebook. And I actually give my seminar leads to my most experienced agents too, because there's high cross-sell potential with them. So, if I had to stay like in that mid-size local agency, like I think that's like 50% of everything I would do would just be seminars, and just trying to fill them as much as possible. Then I'd probably do some follow-up with them, like trying to re-invite them to maybe financial seminars, like over some Social Security income planning or long-term care, and just kind of rehash that because you can, like you were saying earlier, you can be like so full service that you could have a smaller book and actually still do really well just servicing some other secondary, tertiary needs.
Yeah, we really learned that during during COVID, where everybody was retouching their current database
Yeah.
or even previous, attendees to events. That's a great way to segue them into the financial services. It's a great point. I know dinner educational events are, what you recommend during AEP and throughout the year. What do you think? What other things do you think that can help elevate their brand or their business that they should be doing, throughout the year? I know with seminar marketing, we talk about, elevating the invite, really branding it to yourself. So your company logo's on there and that kind of stuff, not necessarily agent's image or bio picture, but their logo, because a lot of times people recognize the logo versus the name, right?
Yeah.
So what else do you recommend to help, elevate your marketing or your brand throughout the year?
In one way, the logos. So like one thing we'd always ask you guys is like, hey, let's just put our logo on there. We don't, like you said, we don't put a bio. We're not trying to take up. We just want that little logo on there. And a lot of that's because we do other marketing. And so that logo for us helps. It might not help if it's the only marketing you're doing, but one thing you can do to make it help having that logo on there is if you go on Facebook and just run like a local video Medicare update campaign, like occasionally, like you just get on there and you say, hey, we just found out that, blah, 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 the Inflation Reduction Act, the new Medicare Part B deductible, Part B premium. We just want to keep you here at Bobby Brock Insurance. We want to keep you guys up to date in the area. And you run like a 25 or 50 mile radius, ad, and you can pump $20, $25 into those ads a day and get huge reach. And you'll get some people that reach out and call in off the ad, especially if you do some kind of call to action. Let us know if you'd like to shop your Medicare supplement rate or make sure you're not on a plan that is going to impact you, like NBC nightly news.
Right.
Like you can hit some of those touch points, and you'll make your money back off what you're spending off the ad for sure. But then when you do something like a seminar mailer or any other kind of mailer, you now start to have that full kind of impact of like, well, I saw them here and now I saw them here. And we used to call that getting in the crosshairs of marketing. Like I want you to see me 1, 2, then 3 spots. And it's around that third spot that I think the magic really happens, so we'll run like back in the day, now last month we spent $150,000 on marketing. So we're spending a lot more now, but when we were, more like just a local agency feel, we would spend $5,000 to $7,000 on like broadcast television, which now you could use like OTT television. Then we would spend like, $3,000 or $4,000 on Facebook. And then we would drop some direct mail in there. We might spend $3,000 or $4,000 on that. I know that sounds like a big budget to somebody, but you can work into that. That could start off, $500, and you're spending $1,500 a month. It's all relative. But like, now that we're spending $150,000 a month, that's feeding a whole lot more people. So you absolutely don't have to spend $150,000, as most people don't have the infrastructure to support $150,000 a month in ad spend. But if you're spending, $1,500 a month, if you could think about it, of even $250 on Facebook and maybe like some newspaper ads or something, and then $1,250 or $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 on direct mail, it's just going to start to amplify that impact. There is a point, Pat, when you're at a low enough point where, and this is why I'm so big on the seminars, dinner seminars get people in before you have a brand. For some reason, it just works better. We always try to push that brand as because as you get bigger and bigger, to have that huge impact of people just calling in and referrals, the referral fire. I'll have people that'll be like, well, I never spend money on marketing because I just refer. And then I'm like, okay, so you've been in the business 30 years. The first 5 years you starved to death, or you worked somewhere that just referred to people. And what is how do you advise somebody that's coming into the business? Because you don't get a bunch of referrals right away. So,
right.
And so I don't like that advice because, I also believe that if they spent money on marketing the way I did at this point in their business, their referrals would be even more than they get right now. Right. Because I always tell people, like, how many referrals are you missing? Because, like, let's say you got Justin Brock on TV, Facebook, direct mail, everywhere. And then you have, John Smith, or let's give it a different name. Let's say Jason Osborne. Jason Osborne has no marketing. And somebody says, hey, you should call Justin Brock. And they're like, oh, that guy on TV, oh, that guy on Facebook, oh, that guy that I got a direct mail piece from him. Or Jason Osborne. Okay, yeah, I'll try to call Jason. And then 2 days later, thinking, I need to call that guy. What was his name? John?
Right.
Josh O'Reilly. They don't know, you know what I mean? Like they forget who that is. But when you're marketing, even the referrals come at a higher rate because people remember who you are. And your clients see you more often and remember to refer you. So
totally agree. I think too that, with seminar marketing that it's getting butts and seats, right? But then there's brand marketing too. There's branding. You have to do both to really help your business grow and stay in front of people. Like you said, I think it's just, we're the same way as a marketing company. We always say 3 times is the touch that you should be doing. And, that should really be your logo. And, speaking, like you said, short little videos, anything that is staying in front of them pretty consistently.
Yep.
How about like once you do your seminars and once you get leads, what's your follow-up look like? What kind of best practices do you kind of recommend to book appointments and follow up with?
So we have Go Guru, and in Go Guru, we've, we partner with you guys in LeadingResponse, you guys will put like text codes in there and QR codes on the cards for us, things like that. But all of that stuff leads back to Go Guru. And even if it's an inbound call to book an appointment, we're putting those leads into a Go Guru pipeline that we've built an automated, sequence of text messaging, all that kind of reminding. So it's immediately we're booking, and then that calendar, once they're booked, is sending, periodic reminders. But then even the day before and the day of, we call them to remind them of it. And I think, the automated stuff is really cool, but there's nothing like that phone call saying it, because now that person, here's this person on the other end of the line. I'm not a big person that uses VAs for this. I like it to be somebody in our office because I want them to be like, oh, this is a real person, local here that expects me to be there. And so that just kind of puts a higher, touch. And even sometimes they'll be like, you know what, I've misscheduled, I can't schedule that. But then they'll reschedule for the next seminar, or they'll schedule to come in for a one-on-one appointment or something. So that's really important. But the answer rate on us calling them is higher because we've been texting them, right? And so now that number, they've saved our number in their phone, or it's come through and they've responded to it. And so now when we're calling, they're not just, it doesn't look like a spam call or something like that. So we get really good answer rates that way. So we're doing that. We're emailing them. We respond afterwards for them to book appointments until, somebody's scheduled an appointment with them in our system. Once the appointment's scheduled, then it's only, the one-on-one appointments, then it's only reminders for that actual appointment versus trying to get them to book it. So we just kind of built that out. I mean, it doesn't really take all that. And you don't have to have Go Guru is a great system that we built for ourselves and extend to other people. But there are other systems, that do the same thing. Just make sure that if you have a CRM or a marketing system or both in one, that it can do the actual, automated follow-up, because nowadays people don't answer the phone like they used to. So having the automation to help warm them up so that when you do call them, they'll actually answer the phone is paramount. Like, it's not like even 10 years ago when I started, people picked up the phone. Then their data started getting sold all over the place, and they started getting called and spoof called, and now they just don't answer the phone. You have to triple dial them. Even triple dialing has stopped working. So,
I joined you at your very first MedicareCon. I've been there ever since. Tell me what you tell agents. Why should they come to MedicareCon and not a typical conference? Why yours?
Yeah. So first I'll start. I've been to a lot of conferences, and the thing about a conference, if you go to a conference with an open mind, there's some of them that are a little more BS than others, but ultimately, if you're there for the right reason, you can meet one person that makes the event worth it. Right. The thing about MedicareCon is you can meet hundreds of people that make it worth it. But even if you didn't go there and meet anybody, the stage information is aimed at truly helping you. We're not there to motivate you. I mean, I hope a little bit of that happens. We're not there for that. We're there for practicality. And this year, I mean, basically the entire teaching that we do at our many more exclusive masterminds behind the agency and behind the marketing, I plan on teaching all of that information from stage. But the big thing is there's no selling from stage. We don't allow our speakers that we put on stage to sell any program or coaching deal or anything like that, which a lot of them turn into sales festivals. We don't have any professional athletes. It's not a professional speaker thing. If somebody's sweating or stammering, just know that they're not a professional speaker. They are someone that we've put there for their expertise. And so listen to what they say and talk to them and gain that and understand that, if you want to see a bunch of professional speakers and you want to be a stage closer, this isn't the event for that. This is the event to learn how to grow a bigger, better Medicare, individual health, financial services focused agency. Of course, we'll be talking a lot about Medicare because that's been our bread and butter. But we're going to talk a lot about how we build our brand, how we do OTT advertising, how we do broadcast television advertising. We're going to talk about, the ways we run Facebook advertising. We're going to talk about seminar mailings and how we converted seminar mailings also into webinars so that we can get further out. We're going to talk about how we mail books and our letter combos to get inbound calls. Talk about all kinds of different things, where we're actually giving people practical, detailed advice, cost analysis. And then we're going to talk about how to build an agency around that with LOA agents and pay scales that are favorable to people, how to hire the right people, because some people hire the wrong people. They read the wrong book and they hire the wrong person. And all of a sudden they got a guy who's a great salesperson, but it's a tyrant and it's hard to be around. And so we're going to talk about all those aspects. And then we're going to have other speakers and vendors that are there to help agents. When we put a vendor in the room, it is a partnership between us and that vendor. And our goal is to fill it with vendors that we trust, that we vetted, not just somebody that says, hey, I'll pay you this much, so we're going to be in there. We've had some temptation there because there's some vendors that have bad reputations that'll pay more to be in the room than everybody else. But we don't want that because we don't want a story that I met a guy at MedicareCon who ripped me off. That's not what we want. And so in our exhibition room where we have, vendors in there, it's primarily carriers and marketing organizations, mail houses, marketing organizations that we've trust, that we would work with, that we know that even though they're all probably, a lot of them are friendly competitors with one another, that all of them have a product and a service that I would put my reputation behind, and say, hey, look, we've used this group. They stand. It's never going to be they're the cheapest. It's never going to be, it's always going to be they're going to do what they say they're going to do, and they're going to stand behind their product and their service. And that's what we want to fill that room with. That's what we want to fill the stage with. And the number one reason that MedicareCon should be attended is that it is for agents, by agents. It's not thrown by conference entrepreneurs. It's not thrown by even though we have an FMO, we're agnostic. One thing you'll notice is last year, our organization did not have an FMO booth there because our goal there is not to recruit us to provide value, knowing that some people will be drawn to us one way or the other. We didn't pitch ourselves from stage. We added value. MedicareCon itself for us is the product, and we know that by virtue of building and facilitating those relationships that we'll reap the reward on the back end. We don't have to be out there self-promoting. MedicareCon is the product.
Awesome. Well, where do I go if I want to attend MedicareCon?
MedicareCon.com. When you go there, we'll have some lists of prices. Through the end of December, there is still a 30% off early bird coupon. It's called Early Bird 2024. And if you, it will forward you to our Eventbrite page because they're the ones that's doing the ticketing service and all that. But you can go to MedicareCon.com. You can click a ticket amount. And it's going to take you over to the Eventbrite ticketing page. There will be a little hidden box on there on the ticketing page where you can put Early Bird 2024. It'll give 30% off. After December 31st, the highest coupons available will be sponsored coupons. So like LeadingResponse will have one. I believe it's LeadingResponse 25, maybe the one. I'd have to check, but you would have the only way you can get The highest you would be able to get after December 31st is 25% off, and it has to be through a vendor's actual coupon to be 25% off ticket prices. So, yeah, and if it should be Leading Response 25, I believe is what it is. But yeah, it is going to be a great time. And if you also have any more questions about what will be there, schedules, anything like that, you can give us a call, 662-844-3300. Talk to Will, talk to Drew, somebody on our team that can, go through, send you some recordings and things of past Medicare cons. But if you ask anybody that's attended, vendor or attendee, 99% of them are going to tell you that the juice was worth the squeeze.
Yeah, I would I recommend it all the time to many of my agents. If they haven't been, they should. I think it's one of the best out there that really supports the agent themselves. The whole event is about you and growing your business. Being a vendor there are many competitors there for me, but they are partners for me too, that they do things great and we do things great. And we talk about that pretty significantly. I always say too, like any vendor in this room, you guys have already used or do use. So it is a trustworthy environment, which I think a lot of agents kind of get lost in that when they go to conferences. So I appreciate you. I appreciate your company. I appreciate working with you guys over the past years. I think that you're industry experts and you do it right. You're all about the consumer. So keep that going. I appreciate that. And look forward to seeing you at MedicareCon and talking to you soon.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you all that are watching.
All right. Thanks.